Welcome to pattern making class. This is Annette Julie, and today we are working on our trouser draft. This is step number 2, and in step number 1, we drew our shared side seam grain line to just get started. Then we drew our waist level, hip level, crotch level, knee level, and ankle level, and we squared all those lines out. Now, on step number 2, we're going to fold the paper so that we're just working from the crotch level up. And now we're going to work on making some boxes. We're going to take our hip measurements and we're going to square them out. We're going to add ease. This is going to be the front over here, okay? And this is going to be the back over here. And so we're looking at waist, hip, and crotch levels. All right, and we're going to make a boxes, and we're going to bring out an extension for our crotch. So we applied our first measurement along the side seam, which I did at 37 inches for my side seam. Okay? Now, the second measurement I'm going to apply is going to be my front hip. So my front hip is 9 3/4, and I'm going to add 1/4 inch ease, so that's going to make that 10 inches. At the same time, my back hip is 10 1/4. I'm going to add 1/4 of an inch ease to that, equaling 10 1/2. So those are our hip measurements, and we're going to apply those hip measurements at the hip and crotch level. Okay, we're gonna square it up to the waist as well. So in the front, take that 10, go from the side seam out 10 inches, draw a little line at crotch and hip at your 10 inches, and square this up and down to the waist and crotch and hip levels. All of those, we're going to go up and down, so we're at waist, hip, and crotch, and we've brought that line up. And the amount that we went out was, at the crotch and hip, we went out 9 3/4 plus 1/4, so we went out a full 10 inches, and then we brought that up. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the back. At the same crotch and hip level, take your ruler from the side seam and go out 10 1/2 inches. 10 1/2 inches. Now let's square that line up. I'm just connecting a little bit of the hip. There we go. And now we've squared these lines up. So our hip back here, this is 10 1/4 plus 1/4. It's 10 1/2. Okay, we applied it along this level. We squared it up and down. Over in the front, the hip, 9 3/4 plus 1/4 inch ease, and we're at 10 inches. And that's our hip and our front. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add crotch extensions. So we're going to come out, and we're going to come out along the crotch level. So in the back, let's bring that crotch level out a little bit more. There we go. And in the front, I already have enough. And on this is actually going to now be our center front right now. Okay. And over here, this is our center back. And we're going to work on making these crotch extensions. But halfway up and down the center front and the center back, you want to mark halfway. Okay, so I'm at 10 3/4. That's going to be 5 3/8. Make a little mark and draw X. This is going to help us to develop our crotch and our rise. Same over here in the back. Go up and down, 10 3/4. There's half, 5 3/8. Let's draw that little line, and we're going to mark X. Now, in order to make my front crotch extension, I need to take 1/4 of from the crotch, from the side seam to the center front, which was 10 inches, and I need to extend that. So my front crotch extension is 1/4 of 10 inches. So I am at 2.5. Let me draw that end. Okay. And I want you to make a little box right here. I want you to make a little 1.5-inch box right after you made that little mark that you went out 2.5 inches from the center front out to here. That's 2.5 inches. Now I'm having you make a little box that's 1.5 by 1.5, and I want you to draw a bias diagonal line in that. Okay? Now, we're going to take our hip curve and we're going to draw a line on that bias line that comes out 1.5 inches, and we are going to connect our crotch from the line that we have the X down to our 1.5 inch up mark, and then you're going to flip the hip curve and you're going to find just the perfect spot. There you go. That you can blend the rest of that curve line. That's our front rise, and right here we would have a single notch. That is step number 2 for the trouser draft. This is Annette Jouy, and I'll see you in step number 3.